situation where you find that a person look at the same.
Not necessarily tribal or regional.
But I have said that.
All right, thank you for staying. Now it's time for us to take a look at the dailies on Daybreak. And we have Larry Olwani, public affairs analyst, to also give perspectives to some of the stories on the front pages of our newspapers. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
All right, now let's begin with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Of course, expected, the lead story talks about the presidential primary. They all talked about APC presidential primary election. That's the lead story there. It says, consensus deal collapses as delegates elect APC candidate. It has the riders that says, I have no anointed candidate. Buhari, NWC divided over Lawan. Northern governors insist on power shift to south. And then the next one, how odds favor Tinubu. Aspirants reach out to delegates in hotels. And then you'd have also an infograph that gives you an idea on what to expect today as the APC delegates go to the polls. It has some analysis of how some states are likely to vote. So if you take a look at the map, the Nigerian map, it has some states colored in green, some in black, some in blue and red, and so on. So it's an indication of how, you know, which state goes to which aspirant. And at the top, very top there, you'd see the projection is that 16 states are likely to go to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, leader of the APC. And then below that, the Osibanjo, next 2 states is also expected to vote in favor of the vice president. And then the next one, 2 for that's Rotimi Amechi. And then you also have the next one, Kaide Fahimi, 2 states. And then Ahmed Lawan, 2 states. Yaya Bello of Kogi, 1. Akpabio, Godswill Akpabio, 1. And then Obonaya Onu has 1 allocated. And then Ben Ayade, 1 as well. So that's just a projection. We get to see how it is actually going to pan out. But you can pick a copy of the Daily Trust to have all the details on what informed this projection. And then you have, you know, above the lead story, attacks displace 2,000 residents. Bandits hijack food truck in Zamfara. You'll find that on page 7. 95% state shareholders are unknown as Nigeria Air gets air transport license. And that's on page 23. Below the infograph there, our church killing. All Nigerians now helpless, according to the Sultan. You'd find that on page 7. And then the next story, other stories at the very bottom there. Driver, son, 2 others found dead in room, 8 others unconscious. Shekarau, Abba Kabir, Hunkuyi pick NNPP senatorial governorship tickets. Man sues Hadiza Gabon for refusing to marry him. You'd find that on page 20. These are some of the stories on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the front page of the Leadership newspaper for today. As expected also, its lead story is on politics. 2,340 APC delegates to decide presidential flag bearer today. And then it has a writer that says, as President Muhammadu Buhari throws contest open, rules out imposition, says, I have no anointed candidate. There's also a writer that says, Adamu's bid to impose law fails. NWC disowns national chairman. South fails to reach consensus. Aspirants go for broke. Northern governors insist on power shift. And then right under the riders, there are this 5 telling statements that left delegates gasping for breath. You may want to pick a copy of the paper to look at those statements. Then above the lead story for today, it says, 4 years after unveiling, Air Nigeria gets operational license. That story is on page 7 of the paper. And above the masthead says, Lagos Oando partner on electric mass transit buses. No one can claim PMB's 2015 electoral victory, says presidency. And then we also have a story here that says, Owo attack rekindles clamor for overhaul of security architecture. And on the foreign scene, there's a story there that says, lockdown party, Boris Johnson survives confidence vote. Also, at the bottom, there's a story there that says, Kola Abiola wins PRP presidential ticket. And we have bandits abduct 20 persons in Zamfara. Those are the major stories on the leadership newspaper for today.
All right. Now let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. It leads with also the APC presidential ticket story. It says, Adamu's consensus plot fails. 21 aspirants in battle royale. 7 NWC members reject Lawan, Tinubu, Osimbajo, Fayemi, others woo delegates. Presidency rubbishes Tinubu's claim of helping Buhari win. Namani steps down. I won't impose anyone. Delegates will elect APC candidate, says Buhari. Other stories above the masthead, you see also our massacre. Survivors, victims, relatives groan as CAN, NGF protest. You have also crude oil export jump by 194%, hit 5.6 trillion naira in 3 months. The next one, varsity unions FG renegotiation panel sitting ends today. COVID-19, others delay aircraft acquisition for national carrier. That's according to the CEO. And then you also have protesting workers shut down National Assembly, lawmakers postpone resumption. Also, the next one, Makinde contests PDP governorship primary alone, defeated himself. That's according to Bolarumi, aspirant. You see also lesson, teacher bags life imprisonment for impregnating 14-year-old pupil. Next one, I didn't see PDP delegates list until day of primary. Dele Momodu, one of the aspirants in that primary election of the PDP. Well, that's these are some of the stories on the Punch newspaper.
Okay. And then let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper also has a political story leading it. Presidential ticket, Buhari disowns Adamu over Lawan. And then we also have, right at the bottom, Tinubu tipped to win APC presidential race. And just like the story on the front page of the Daily Trust, they also have some projections here on how the delegates may vote. And then at the top, right at the top of above the masthead, there's a story that says, terrorists operated for 30 minutes at Owo Church. Survivor recounts. My 70-year-old mom shot dead. Please recover unexploded bomb. Then there's also this pictorial here showing one of the victims of the Owo attacks receiving treatment in the hospital. This was during a visit by one of the aspirants for the APC presidential ticket, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, during a visit there yesterday. And then there's also this story that says, Nigeria Air gears up to begin operation. Those are the major stories on the Nation for today.
And on this day newspaper, it also have some interesting stories as well. It leads with the story. It says, in Super Tuesday, aspirants narrow to Osibanjo, Tinubu, Fayemi, Amechi, Umahi, and Lawan. You also have the one at the very top above the masthead, Sultan, Archbishop of Canterbury, condemned terrorist attack on our church, says it's crime against humanity. And then, of course, let's take a look at The Guardian, the last paper here. The lead story says, APC Presidential Convention, confusion as party juggles zoning, consensus candidacy. The next one at the top, no one individual responsible for Buhari's emergence, presidency replies Tinubu. Owando partners Lagos on mass transit. The alarming state of the nation. Gunmen attack Abuja estate, kidnap residents. Okay, we have a story that gave a clarification to that earlier. Over killings, Pope, Osibajo, Sultan, Oni, others mourn as police recover 3 exploded IEDs. And then the next one, you must return our mandate. Resign now. PDP tells Oyo deputy governor. So these are some of the stories on the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Of course, we'll begin with the most visible one across all the papers. Let's welcome our guest again, Larry Olwani. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just go straight to the big story of the day. The APC presidential primary has dominated all the papers as expected. And, there's this, information coming out here and there, and it doesn't look that there's a clarity. Although we saw on Daily Trust and on the Nation newspaper certain projections as to what is likely to happen today. The Nation is quite generous. About 16 states is expected to go to the Jagaban, the leader of the APC. On the other hand, Daily Trust...
16 as well.
Okay, 16. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
16.
16.
All right. So let's start with your own take on, all the developments as far as the APC presidential primaries.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. One thing I have seen in Nigeria is that when it's time for political season, everybody is interested. And you bring another dimension into our nationhood. I've seen so far that since the beginning of this year now that we are talking about politics, nobody wants to talk about economy, security any longer. But good. APC presidential primary is here. But the only thing there is that if they did not manage the outcome of this primary, this election is either to make APC or to mar APC. That's number one. Number two, there are power play within the leadership. No doubt about it. Some want consensus, which are few. Majority want a delegate election. And to make the case worse yesterday, the national chairman declared one person as a consensus candidate, and everywhere the hell get loose. And the northern governors have to rush to the filler to confirm. That's game anyway. But let's see how it goes. But based on the analysis on the newspaper, it's not, I won't say they are, you said they were fear or they are just giving Shiwaju's system state. No. It's the real analysis. In fact, it should get more. Even when they say Osibajo to state there, Osibajo cannot win Nasarawa.
Oh, why do you say it's the real analysis?
Because if you have been in the political terrain of this nation, you should know who and who that have the capacity to get those states. That's the truth.
Well, we've seen a lot of surprises in Nigeria's politics. We've seen people, aspirants, step down for some, even at the venue of
yes.
the primary election.
It's part of the game.
Exactly. So we are not sure who is holding spot for who, even at this point. I mean, if you look at, all that has been happening, the consensus, for instance, the chairman of the APC single-handedly gave up that name. And from what we are hearing, the NWC members also said that they are not even aware of that, consensus arrangement. So what's the position of the NWC members? We don't even know. So there's a whole lot, that is really happening here. The presidency has also said that he has not anointed anyone, as we speak. So it appears that we're in for surprises later. At the end of the day, one person has to be the one to emerge, as the flag bearer of the party.
In a good democratic setting, NWC, their role is not to support any candidate. Their role is to allow the level playground. They are not supposed to be in support or against anybody, because they are the arbiter that decide. They are just like INEC that decide who will win the race.
Okay, but in this instant, the chairman of the NWC, who is the chairman of the party, Adam Abdullahi, said his announcement of that candidate, that aspirant, was based on consultations with the president.
Yeah, I know you cannot do that alone. You have the backing of the presidency. That's the truth.
But the president has said he has no...
Yeah, it's a game. It's a game. That any wise politician in the race will know that it is a game. It's a game. I'm able to say it.
So
they can deny it on paper.
What do you think of the discordant tunes, though?
Let's watch. Let's wait and see.
This becomes very dicey, especially
Exactly.
if you look at the position of the northern governors as well. Nasser Rufai, as we heard earlier on in one of the reports, saying that 14 out of the northern governors, 11 out of the 14, 12 out of 14. The 14 northern governors have all agreed. We have also one of the northern governor who is an aspirant himself, who doesn't seem to be in sync with the agreement or the arrangement of the northern governors. And all that. So,
to tell ourselves the truth, that's why in my open remark I said something. This convention will make APC or mar them. If they manage it well, good. If they don't, why? The country is so polarized that you must look at the yearnings of the people and sensitivity in our nation. I got a report last night of what is taking place in the northern part of Nigeria. How the people from the southern people now, as I'm telling you, are panicking because of our attack and because of what is happening in APC. So they must be sensitive to the yearnings and the situation in the country. It's not about selfish interest. It's about national interest. That's all. But when we are playing politics on selfish interest override national interest, me and you, we are at risk because they all have another place they can go to.
all
So tonight, before this evening, do you see a situation of them coming together and producing one candidate, one person? And then again, why, in your view, has the people from the Southwest not been able to come up with one person? Because they have about 4 of them.
There is a lot of series of meetings going on between the Southwest caucus. And there are some of them that have stepped down. There are some that they may not say it openly, but they will have their meeting.
In the Southwest, nobody has stepped down yet.
They won't say it openly, but they will have their things calculated because they need to learn. That's the truth. But if they did not step down for one another, let's see how it goes. It's a right, it's a constitutional right to contest. So if you have the capacity to deliver, and if they spoil themselves, they spoil their chances, the whole what we see. So it's a normal thing. Because one thing I've realized is that even someone that cannot win a state is part of people that are hungry yesterday. If the general election come today, he can't win a state.
I mean, how would you know that? I mean, you can't say that.
I mean, for him to have thrown his hat in the ring, for him to have purchased the form, he must have believed that, you know.
You don't know how many people that purchased form in PDP. What did they score at the... So the issue there is that some people are there for another reason.
Let's not forget that there are 23 people in this contest.
They have screened some out.
22.
They have
right?
screened.
One has stepped down.
2 have stepped down, Bagudu and Kenny Namani last night.
Okay, last night.
They have screened,
so we have
they have screened them up to 30 now.
No, they didn't do that. That wasn't what happened.
They were recommended for disqualification, but they didn't. They were not.
But I don't think that they were.
So we're expecting at least 20 people to contest this.
Yes,
but again, like I said, we'll see all of that pans out. Now, another one is the issue of the church killing that has also saw a lot of reaction through that incident. The Sultan is saying that all Nigerians are now helpless. What's your take on that attack?
It's a sudden situation. That's the truth. It's a sudden situation, and it's uncalled for. I'm aware that there have been a kind of prayer on that area for some times, as a result that the governor of the state asked the people to leave the forest reserve, if you can remember the story. And so from then, they have been working hard to like a kind of revenge, because that war is a turn of Mr. Governor himself.
Yes, that was why I was coming to. I was wondering, the fact that this thing happened in the governor's town, it's instructive, right? Is there a particular reason why it was targeted at the governor's town?
They send a message to him. So, but issue of banditry, insecurity, I think is not for the northern region alone. We should tell ourselves the truth. It's entire. That is what Sultan is saying. This is becoming alarming. So we have been talking about overhauling security architecture in this nation for how many years now?
Now, it is for this kind of issues that the Amotekun, for instance, was set up. Would you say that the Amotekun has served the purpose for which it was set up?
Yes, they have been doing well. But don't forget that they were not armed. All what they are just doing is that they were sent to the bush, walk around the bush, get information, and report to police. That's their job. Just be at alert, just like information gathering. But they cannot do the execution.
So will you say in this instance there was that failure of intelligence report?
Definitely. More things are still going to come out. We are hearing a different story now, but more things are going to come out.
Well, one of the victims said that the shooting lasted for at least 30 minutes.
Just 30 minutes. So it's a predetermined
But within
operation.
that period, was it not possible that security operatives could have come in?
We know our country. We know what happened in Edo State. After they finished robbing bank, before the police show up. So we knew what happened in our country every day. So I don't want to put the entire blame on the security operative. That's the truth.
Quite a number of stories, really, this morning that we're looking at. Yesterday, we saw the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, the issuance of license for Nigerian Air, transport license for Nigerian Air. How would you say, this has come along since? First, it was the unveiling of the logo, I think about 3 years ago or so.
Yes.
And now we are seeing, the issuance of the license. Initially, we were told that in April, Nigerian Air would have taken off, and then it was now postponed to July. And so here we are. Is it feasible to have anything about Nigerian Airways before the end of this administration, even as we are all busy with politics and all?
See, it's feasible if they want it to happen. But my challenge is the maintenance ability. This is a business arm of a government. It should be business 100%. But we're in a country whereby they will start it as a business and eventually it become a political office for some political personnel. Yes. There's nothing bad if we have our own national career.
What the Minister of Aviation is saying is that the government owns only 5% stake in that establishment. So it's, you could say 95% owned by, you know, private investors.
Yes, but it left to me there should be a kind of PPP arrangement. They should not even own anything. Because that 5%, yes, they should just find a way that, okay, let's give you a level playing ground here, the remittance also amount to us. Because that 5% will make them to say they want to determine who become the DG of the something. And they will now begin to bring their cronies.
You know, the timelines that we have less than
a month.
How many months to the end of the administration? I think about 9.
We still have about 10 months.
Maybe 10 months, right? Now, what experts and analysts are saying is that you require, you know, at least 50-hour demonstration flights for any aircraft to come to be. And as we speak, we are not even sure whether the aircraft are on ground, you know, for the Nigerian Airways.
But don't forget that they want to partner.
Is it not
with
too generous
airlines
of you or optimistic of you to think that it's feasible actually before?
You know, they know that they cannot meet up, but what they want to do is to partner with other airlines that are already in existence in Nigeria.
The projection is to kick off next month.
And that is because they are working on partnership with other existing airlines in Nigeria. That's okay, like Earpiece, like Aero, okay. What do you have there? What do we have? Let's partner together. What they will just do is that they will just print some of their aircraft into Nigeria logo and other stuff. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So that's not even my headache. My headache is, you go to maintain, because the people that work in those airlines, till today, they have not received their pension.
Yeah, but this is going to be 95% other investors, just 5% Nigerian government, which means that those 95% foreign investors or whoever they are will take care of those stuffs like that.
We hope so. That's the truth. In Africa, we knew what happened to South African airline. I'm telling you the truth. So any business venture that is not totally given, just give them an enabling environment and have arrangement on how to get your own money from them. The politician will go there and want to have their way all the time.
You know, it's called Air Nigeria. So I think this 5% is to ensure that a form of, at least some form of ownership.
Okay.
If you seed everything out, then, you know.
You know, if you see the way developed country runs their own partner, they don't even put money there. But they're still the owner of the, like Heathrow. We know who owns the Heathrow. So do you want to tell me today that you just come out and say Heathrow belongs to Gulisi? No. It still belongs to UK government. But that is the way they run it.
All right. Well, we'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll continue with our review of today's papers. Please stay with us. All right, thank you for staying. And if you are just joining, you're watching Daybreak, reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja. We are looking at stories on the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Now, if you take a look at the leadership newspaper this morning, if a director could just flash that, you see a story there that says no one can claim PMB's 2015 electoral victory. We'd like to get perspectives on that. Guest reviewer in the studio is still here with us, Olwani, a public affairs analyst. Now, what do you think about that statement? Apparently, that's a response to the claims made by the APC national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, somewhere in Abeokuta earlier last week, I believe, or over the weekend. What would you say, or would you say?
Yeah, the presidency have a right to reply. Yes, maybe to debunk, but the truth of the matter is there. There is facts.
What's the truth of the matter?
The truth of the matter is President Muhammadu Buhari would not have been a candidate of APC at 2014 primary election if not the help of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Well, what the presidency
Don't
is
forget
saying,
that the President Buhari was the one behind the CPC, which is a major part of the current APC now.
Yeah, thank you. President Muhammadu Buhari have a huge followers in the northern part of the country. Anytime he contests, he always call nothing less than 10 million. But that one has not made him a president of this nation, according to the Nigerian Constitution. Because if you will become a president of this country, you must win 2/3 of the whole country, 36 states, including FCT, which is 23 states. So he could not do that. So you have to come in alliance with the ACN. They already have 5 governors. Don't forget, CPC have only 1 governor, which is Nasarawa State, Tanko Ali Makura. ACN have 5 governors already. So coming together with the wisdom of the leaders, let's work together, and that's bring the victory. The only area that I can say is that one person cannot claim the general election victory.
Exactly. What the presidency is saying. What the presidency is saying is that everybody came up with an idea. Everybody came up with a strategy. You could have come up with this, another person came up with this, and that together they made it happen. And so, being that together they made it happen, no single person should claim victory for that. That's what they are saying.
But what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed is actually referring to is their primary, APC Presidential Primary in Lagos. Because the heavyweight are on ground. Someone like Atiku Abubakar, someone like Kwankwaso, they are on ground to take the party ticket with something, which we all know what has been happening in PDP. So someone like Atiku is on ground to take the party ticket, and they have already given out money, as usual, in dollars in Lagos. So it was Tinubu that stepped in, said, this is what we are going to do. Let's talk to all the Southwest delegates. Their vote should be for Buhari, the president. And if we need to buy, that's what they do. They will now arrange how to, that is how they are able to defeat Atiku in that primary election. Even as Atiku will have been the...
But some persons have said that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not have made that statement.
Yes, but some people may feel, but they have his own reason. Because I believe when he saw the way things is going, in the party, towards his own ambition, he have to speak out. If he doesn't speak out now, he will not be able to set the record straight.
But doesn't that sound like a person that have a sense of entitlement towards that seat of the president? Nigeria is a country of about more than 200 million people. And so that discussion between the leader of the APC was between him and President Muhammadu Buhari, or whatever agreement they had. Why should Nigeria be held to ransom for an agreement between two persons?
I don't believe he's
why
talking
should Nigerians be
he's
the
not
ones to have
talking
to pay for that?
At that particular moment, he's not talking to Nigerian citizens. He's talking to the APC leadership and the delegates. So the matter is internal affairs. So when things...
So that statement was aimed at rejigging their memory? Is that what you're
Yeah, he's trying to let them know. He take them back to the memory lane, that if you don't remember, let me help you to remember. So it's not a fight. It's not even something too much. Yes, I always tell people it's not something too much. When President Muhammadu Buhari were in this country, when he too was contesting severally and he cheated, he made some statement as well. He had bossed. And when he had bossed himself, some people listened to him. So it's not something, we should not be emotional or be anything about it. So President Muhammadu Buhari has been in that shoe before, and we knew what he said. He also had bossed himself at the time that they are rigging him out. And this will not continue. So it's a normal thing. When you are in the race and you are seeing things is not going in your favor, and you knew what you have contributed.
So is this candidature of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually about the Yoruba nation? Because he also made such claims that it's about the Yoruba nation. Is that actually just the case? Because I don't think in the race as well.
I don't think it's about the Yoruba nation. Don't put.
He said
it's about Yoruba race.
He said it is the Yoruba. He said it is nation, race. Whichever
it's
word
people
you
that
use.
brought the nation. But Yoruba is a race.
Okay, race.
Yeah.
Given. Is this about the Yoruba race? Because I understand that there are also other Yorubas in the race as well.
Yes, because before I became a Nigerian citizen, you are either a Fulani man, or a Hausa man, or a Igbo man, or a Shekiri man, or a Yoruba man. Before we all became a Nigerian citizen.
But which should come first? Which one should come first?
The national interest.
Nigeria
is supposed to come first.
Exactly.
Nigeria is supposed to come first, which is national interest. But we are in a country whereby reverse is the case.
And should that be the case? Should we keep promoting that?
So we are not supposed to promote that. But our leaders should show example. If you want us to keep believing in this country as a patriotic citizen, show us the example. And that is the example the leaders of the northern governors did about 2-3 days ago. That for equity, for fairness, for justice, we are in support of taking power back to the southern Nigeria.
So if truly we are talking
So that is national interest.
So if truly we are talking about equity, do you honestly think that we should be putting forward leaders from the southwestern part of the country?
Thank you very much. I've said this before. If we want to go by equity, fairness, and talk about national interest, we're supposed to leave the ticket open for everybody to come. And whosoever that becomes the president of our country become the president of all. But yet, our democracy has not grown, has not matured to that level because we are divided across religion, across ethnicity.
We keep talking about our democracy not being matured and all of that. This democracy is over 20 years old. We should be getting there.
Can you compare a 20-year-old boy with a 60-year-old?
Yeah, but we can strive. Every time we hide under nascent democracy, Nigeria's democracy is no longer nascent.
Let me tell you the truth. Until our leaders remove their selfish interests, we will all keep propagating that. Let national interest override everything we are doing.
All right. Okay, well, it's a good place to end this. Thank you so much for your perspectives. Larry Olwani, public affairs analyst, is our guest reviewer for the papers this morning. We'll take a short breather and then we'll come back at the top of the hour and then the show will continue. Please stay with us.
But in a situation where you find that look like the same,
Not necessarily tribal or regional.
but I have said that